Hello everyone, I am Mahmood Jasim, a PhD student from the University of Massachusetts Amherst. On behalf of my collaborators from the University of Massachusetts Amherst and York University, today I'll be presenting our paper, CommunityPulse, Facilitating Community Input Analysis by Surfacing Hidden Insights, Reflections, and Priorities. The advancements in digital civics have enabled civic leaders to broaden their outreach and collect online community input, including new ideas, thoughts, or opinions. However, as the scale of community engagement and gathered data increases, civic leaders struggle to analyze and make sense of textual community input for decision making. Exploring, analyzing, and sense making of online text data is challenging due to high dimensionality, lack of structure, and ambiguity in human language. These challenges intensify in the civic domain due to informal language and the unclear boundary between positive and negative opinions. Current practices around analyzing community input revolve around manual coding or using qualitative data analysis tools. However, such methods are often tedious, time consuming, and labor intensive. Researchers in HCI have been exploring this technology space to enable opinion sharing, consensus building, and providing high level overviews of community input. While these tools provide aggregated high level statistics, they do not necessarily provide functionalities for in depth investigation of multiple facets of community input. Due to this lack of effective analysis methods, community input often remain unanalyzed and unutilized in civic decision making. There is a necessity for human centered tools that are tailored for civic leaders to help them produce and sublimate large scale community input into concrete and actionable insights. To address this gap, we conducted interviews with 14 civic leaders to identify their challenges and technology needs. Based on these interviews, we designed and developed CommunityPulse, a visual analytics system to enable civic leaders to explore, analyze, and make sense of community input. We also evaluated the system with another 15 civic leaders to assess the effectiveness of our approach. We started by reaching out to civic leaders across the United States who are involved with large scale civic data collection, analysis, and decision making processes. 14 of them responded and participated in our study, where we conducted 2 rounds of interviews with each of them. During the interviews, we inquired about their community input analysis practices and performed rapid prototyping to discuss their technology requirements. These interviews with civic leaders surfaced critical requirements. We used these requirements to crystallize our 4 design goals. 1. Organizing unstructured community input and highlighting different facets inherent in the data to help civic leaders measure the pulse of the community. 2. Provide meaningful and impactful methods to explore and make sense of multifaceted community input at different levels of granularity. 3. Going beyond binary sentiment analysis methods by identifying fine grained categorization of communities' emotions to enable civic leaders to gain a deeper understanding of communities' reactions towards civic proposals. And 4. Surfacing the main discussion points from community input relevant to civic proposals. Based on these design goals, we designed and developed Community Pulse. Community Pulse is an interactive visual analytics system that supports the multi-level exploration of community input, starting from a high-level overview of the community's emotions, along with the main discussion topics, and allows interactions to drill down to individual text comments. Community Pulse has 3 views. The aggregate view contains the list of proposals, the number of participants and comments for each proposal, main topics, and most importantly, emotion bar charts for each civic proposal that shows people's reaction to these proposals. We classified community input based on interview feedback into 5 categories of emotions: excited, happy, neutral, concerned, and angry. Upon selecting any proposal from the aggregate view, the detail view opens up and allows drilling down to individual comments. And the compare view enables side-by-side comparisons between 2 proposals. Here, I will demonstrate a scenario to highlight Community Pulse's features. This scenario is recreated from a civic leader's usage patterns collected during the evaluation. Consider Pedro, a civic leader who wants to understand the community's input on various proposals regarding a local planning program. He selects a proposal that he thinks is interesting, called El Parque Quito. He then selects the topic Own Space to see what the community is talking about. When the comments are filtered accordingly, two angry comments catch his eyes. He identifies from the user information that they are from the same user, user 44. He deselects the topics to see all the comment. Now he filters the comments by emotion angry. The meta information immediately tells him all three angry comments come from the same user, user 44. He reads the comments to learn that user 44 has strong opinions against private vehicles. This sequence of activities allows Pedro to identify such anomalies from the community input. To evaluate Community Pulse, we reached out to another 36 civic leaders across the United States who were not a part of the need finding interviews. 15 of them agreed to participate in evaluating Community Pulse. We populated our system with a real world dataset collected by a local planning group in an effort to redesign a major downtown street in San Diego, California. The dataset was collected using a public engagement platform called Community Crit and consisted of 352 qualitative free-form text comments collected from 39 community members on 19 civic proposals. We shared Community Pulse with the participants 2 weeks prior to conducting semi-structured interviews with them and collected their usage logs. The participants used Community Pulse to analyze the data where they spent an average of 52.61 minutes over 3 different sessions. During our semi-structured interviews, we asked participants about their community input analysis goals, how Community Pulse helped them achieve these goals, and how it compared against their current data analysis methods. From the usage logs and interviews, we found that the participants employed two major strategies for investigating community input. The first strategy was mostly employed when participants' goal was to closely investigate community input in detail. The second strategy was utilized for a high-level overview before drilling down to individual comments. These analysis strategies suggest that Community Pulse can provide a structure for community input analysis by scaffolding multiple facets of community input. From the interviews, we also learned that Community Pulse can surface emotions that can help to understand the community's reflections and help identify where the community's priorities lie. Some participants mentioned how Community Pulse can surpass their current community input analysis methods by enabling multi-level exploration of the data that can surface hidden insights buried within the community input. Others mentioned it can also enable them to effectively interpret community input and accelerate the analysis process. However, one participant mentioned a caveat where inexperienced analysts might misinterpret the underlying data if they depend exclusively on high-level categorization. They also suggested adding more features to increase user agency. In the paper, we discuss key requirements for analyzing community input based on 14 in-depth interviews with civic leaders that involves meaningful exploration of unstructured community input and going beyond binary sentiments for more fine-grained emotion categorization. We discuss how attempts to combine text analysis and visualization in tools like Community Pulse can help in domains where data-driven decision-making from unstructured data is critical. We discuss the importance of going beyond binary sentiments by identifying fine-grained categories of emotions to represent communities' reflections more deeply. We also elaborate on the challenges we faced during the study, where we approached a complex socio-technical problem and how the lessons we learned can be applied to similar domains to design and develop solutions for data-driven decision-making. I thank you for listening to my presentation. I hope this talk has provided you with some insights and ideas, and I'm eager to continue the discussion.